Good morning and welcome to Redeemer. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. This week, I hope that we will study about some of the Jewish festivals and holidays that we might hear about from time to time, but which also appear in the story of Jesus as well, or have a pretty strong connection to Jesus. Now, before we get started, please understand I'm not an expert in Jewish festivals or holidays, but I do know a little bit about all these things. And today, we're going to look at Hanukkah. Hanukkah is an 8-day celebration that usually falls in November or December and has also been called the Festival of Lights. A couple of hundred years before the time of Jesus, Israel had been conquered by the Syrians, and eventually the ruler became a man with the unwieldy title of Antiochus Epiphanes. Tradition says that he outlawed the Jewish religion and made people worship the Greek gods. Then in 168 BC, he attacked Jerusalem and slaughtered thousands. To make matters worse, he entered the temple, going all the way into the Holy of Holies where no one else was supposed to go. And there he erected an altar to Zeus, and on that altar he sacrificed a pig. Now, just as a reminder to Jews, pigs were unclean animals, and to have one sacrificed in the temple became known as the desolating sacrilege. A man named Judas Maccabeus, whose name means the hammer, led a revolt and in 166 BC drove the Syrians out of Jerusalem. Then they cleansed the temple, rebuilt its altar, and lighted its menorah, the gold candelabrum whose 7 branches represented knowledge and creation and were meant to be kept burning every night. Tradition says that when they rededicated the temple, there was only enough oil to keep the menorah lit for one night, but that it continued to flicker and burn for 8 nights, leading to the 8-day festival. Today, the Hanukkah celebration revolves around the kindling of a 9-branched menorah known in Hebrew as the Hanukkah. On each of the holiday's 8 nights, another candle is added to the menorah after sundown. The 9th candle, called the shamash, or helper, is used to light the others. Jews typically recite blessings during this ritual and display the menorah prominently in a window as a reminder to others of the miracle that inspired the holiday. Often, Hanukkah falls near our time for Christmas, and for many of us, the two are connected, but truthfully, they don't have any relationship to each other. Jesus was in Jerusalem at the time of Hanukkah one year. We find the story in John 10, verses 22 through 23, and it describes Jesus walking in the temple in the portico of Solomon. And there's even a report of the weather. The detail is told that it was cold. Just before this passage, Jesus had been talking about being the good shepherd who lays down his life for the sheep, perhaps hinting that he was the new sacrifice to replace the desolating sacrilege. And there in that portico, his enemies ask him again about being the Son of God. And again, Jesus answers with images of sheep and ends up saying, "The Father and I are one." They tried to stone him and then arrest him, but Jesus left and went out to where John the Baptist had been preaching and baptizing. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.